Hi everyone, thanks for joining this webinar about the 3 quick tips for when your workplace outsourcing contract is expiring. My name is Alex van der Bergh and I'm Sourcing Advisory Lead at Quint Redwood. So let's dive into this. Your workplace outsourcing contract is expiring. There's 3 things you should know. First, the workplace is in a revolutionary transition and new models must be explored. Second, try a pilot of a new model before you sign a contract. And third, start well in advance, at least 6 to 18 months. Let's dive into these in more detail. First, the workplace is in a revolutionary transition and new models must be explored. Number 1, the workplace is becoming internet-centric and hardware independent. Making sure that the workplace is anytime, anywhere connected is key. Users expect a similar experience on all devices, with increased usage for cloud solutions for data applications is required. It's more about the server side than ever. It's less about the client side. Second, the workplace has moved beyond a company-provided desktop or laptop. That means multiple devices. Probably bring your own device. And all these devices need to be connected to the same workplace experience. Identity and access management and data management are extreme challenges that need to be addressed. But various models exist for that. And vendors and outsourcing contracts become increasingly compatible with this new model. Talking about models, the pay-per-use model has entered the outsourcing market when it comes to end-user services. Usage-based services and license management with very limited committed spend are possible to negotiate and very, very beneficial for organizations, especially if you need to scale up or scale down in, let's say, contractors that require a certain workplace. Delivery remains a mixture of the old and new, and suppliers continue to embrace more zero-touch models with minimal human intervention and where automation plays a key role. This is a tremendous shift from the traditional workplace contracts that you may have signed 5 years ago that were top of the market then. The fourth thing is service desk options are increasing the user experience much more towards a consumer-like experience. The way you would service your laptop or your desktop at home or your iPad is being extremely similar to the way it is configured in a workplace environment from a user perspective. Of course, behind this user experience layer, there's a whole different organization. But the way that users configure their workplace desktop is becoming similar as they do at home. Think about app stores specifically for your organization. Think about self-servicing, etc. This has dramatically changed outsourcing contracts for end-user services. The fifth thing to consider is workplace provisioning should not be part of your core business. For 90% of the organizations that we support, we find that outsourcing the workplace to a specialized provider is very beneficial compared to doing it yourself. So you should take these 5 points into account when your workplace outsourcing contract is expiring. The second thing you should know is it is important to try a pilot of a new model. As the workplace has changed so revolutionary, the new models need to be checked before they can be implemented. Here are some of the reasons. 1, it's important enough. The workplace is the single most important IT outsourcing domain for user satisfaction. At Quint Redwood, we measure client satisfaction in outsourcing relationships, and we find that the workplace is the most critical domain for user or client satisfaction. Users care about their workplace, especially if the service desk is in scope. In an outsourcing scope, it is important that it should work correctly. A pilot is a great way to involve your business users in a transition to the new model, get their input and get their buy-in, and finalize the model before you sign an outsourcing contract. The second thing to consider is these new models, and we do recommend you check them out, but they have not matured yet to a utility. That means some providers have a standard solution, but it is unclear whether it works 100% in your situation. So a pilot is a great way to test it to apply it, to make some small changes to it, and to ensure it works. The third reason is a pilot is the ultimate due diligence. Whatever the vendor may have proposed in an RFP stage can now be checked whether it works. Also, you can see if the vendor team is sufficiently equipped to implement the new model. And also important, you can see whether your own organization is up to the task of implementing the new model. So these are the reasons why we recommend trying the pilot of a new model before you sign the final contract. So what does that mean for implementation? We advise that you should prepare 6 to 18 months in advance. The reason for this large time scale is the big changes into this domain. So if your outsourcing contract expires in the next 2 or 3 months, usually we would recommend to extend the contract for another 6 months, buying you some time to really get into the new options that are out there, perhaps do a pilot and make sure you contract the end user services outsourcing that can help you for the next 5 to 7 years. So what does preparation look like? First, have your current situation assessed and analyzed. You see the aspects on which it should be done on the right side of the screen. Then explore the applicability of the new and alternative options we mentioned. Determine your sourcing strategy, the scoping, etc., and start the initiative. Those were the 3 main things that you should know when your end user services outsourcing contract is expiring. Thanks for joining me today. If you have further questions, be sure to check out our website at quintgroup.com. Quint Wellington Redwood, my organization, is proud to be the world's best outsourcing advisor for the 3rd time in a row. We're truly independent. We serve companies all around the globe and have an in-depth knowledge of IT. We would love to help you out. And if you have any questions, be sure to contact us. See you on our website, quintgroup.com. Thanks again for joining.